ABC Sports, the network of the 1987 World Series. Presents Monday Night Baseball. Tonight from Tiger Stadium, it's the Chicago White Sox against the Detroit Tigers. The Sox have been getting some timely hitting from Carlton Fisk, who leads the American League in game-winning RBI. The red-hot Tigers have a new cleanup hitter this year, shortstop Alan Trammell, who's having his finest season. The Tigers and White Sox on Monday Night Baseball. And we welcome you to Tiger Stadium, the home of the hottest baseball team in the major leagues, the Detroit Tigers. Pennant fever is hit here in the Motor City. Tiger mania as the Tigers really rolling along. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. After a miserable start, the Tigers at one time, believe it or not, were 11 and a half games out, and May 5th, they've started to put it all together. They've won 45 of their last 60, 8 of their last 10 since the All-Star break. That now has put them on the heels of the Yankees. They're only one game behind New York. They moved ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays by half game, and this is the first time since August of '83 that 3 teams in the American League's Eastern Division have been separated by less than 2 games this late in the season. I'm joined by Jim Palmer. And Jim, Sparky Anderson said at the start of the year, you're going to hear from this Detroit team before the year's over. He was exactly right.
Well, that he was. And of course, you know, Sparky's the world's biggest optimist. And I think he really felt that the Tigers were going to struggle. Number one, if you go back and look at the legacy of Sparky Anderson, when he was in Cincinnati, he had Johnny Bench catching. Here in Tiger Stadium, he always had Lance Parrish, and he lost him over the season. And I really think that they felt that they would struggle for runs. Here they are after leading the American League in home runs last year. Again doing that, also leading the American League, not in hitting, but in runs scored. So they have a good ball club. They have a great defense up the middle. Matt Noakes, a young catcher, is not a great defensive catcher, but with 21 home runs, a great offensive bat. They're a much better, more formidable team, I think, than Sparky thought they would be.
Jim, on the other hand, the White Sox in '83 won the American League West. Here they are now in the basement. What a change.
Well, it certainly is. And if you go back to 1983, I played on a team that played against them in the playoffs, led the American League in runs scored, formidable starting staff. Richard Doxson, Lamar Hoyt, who won a Cy Young, Bannister, who had won, I think, 14 in a row the second half. Well, some of them are still there, but Lamar Hoyt's in the minor leagues. They cannot score runs. Last in runs scored last year. The only thing keeping him from being the lowest scoring team this year is the Kansas City Royals. A struggling ball club. They're trying to build from the minor leagues. But Yankees came in there over the weekend and lost 2 out of 3, so they are a competitive ball club. I think they have a manager I respect greatly in Jim Fregosi. He has them playing very well. They can't win a lot of games, but they're playing hard.
Frank Tanana, the left-hander, will be going for the Tigers. He's already beaten the White Sox twice this year. Scott Nielsen will be going his first start of the year against the Tigers. We'll be back with the introduction of the rest of the starting lineups. And the Tigers now take the field. A big week for Detroit. 3-game series here, 4-game series of the Yankees coming up over the weekend. And you couldn't ask for better weather than we have for this game. Let's take a look now offensively at the Chicago White Sox. Leading off, and he will be the DH in this game tonight, will be Gary Reedus. Reedus, who had a home run in yesterday's ball game, batting second, and at third base, Donnie Hill. Harold Baines in right field for the first time since opening day. Ivan Calderon will be in left field. Jerry Hairston will be the first baseman. Carlton Fisk will be catching. The speedster Ken Williams will be in center field. At second base, Fred Manrique. And Ozzie Guillen, the outstanding shortstop for the White Sox, will be batting in the number 9 position. Jim, let's look defensively now at Detroit.
Well, you're taking, as I said, a very good defense. Starting at Evans at first, 40 years of age. Whitaker, Gold Glover at second. Trammell, Gold Glover at short. Tom Brookins at third. Kirk Gibson in left. Chet Lemon, one of the better center fielders. And Pat Sheridan, for years played with Kansas City on the turf. And Matt Noakes, again known for his offense, 21 home runs. Does not throw that well. Has a good arm, but a long delivery. But a good defensive ball club. And I think if you looked at yesterday's Hall of Fame ceremonies, Catfish Hunter, as we take a look at Frank Tanana talking about he didn't win all those games by himself. It takes good offense and good defense. Look at the numbers on Frank Tanana. His 14th major league year, 9-7 this year. rough outing last time with about 6 runs. Otherwise, be right up there with the league ERA leaders. 3.66 ERA as it is, which is about a run lower than just about the league average. So tough left-hander, but a total departure from the guy that I saw back in 1973 that came up with California Angels.
Well, he was a real fireballer at that time. Now it's more of a finesse pitcher. Gary Reedus will lead it off now for the Pale Hose. He'll be followed by Donnie Hill and then Harold Baines. Tanana, his 21st start of the season. His third against the White Sox. He beat the White Sox on April 10th at Comiskey Park. And then April 17th, he beat him here in Tiger Stadium.
The impressive thing is that he has been into the 7th inning 17 out of those 21 starts. So a lot of quality innings.
Slow breaking pitch, misses. And the count goes to 1 ball. No strikes on Reedus. Reedus, believe it or not, even though he's only hitting .223, is second in the American League in stolen bases with 31. So when he's gotten on base, he's been very effective. And that misses, and it's 2-0.
Well, 31 out of 36 attempts, so he is an excellent base stealer, but I don't think he's adjusted to the breaking ball league. A little bit more of an off-speed league here in the American League versus the National League. A good fastball hitter, and he got one to hit right there.
Center field. Chet Lemon is drifting over there, and he'll put it away easily, and there's 1 down. Calling balls and strikes for tonight's game will be Dave Phillips. At first base will be Al Clark. Dan Morrison is the second base umpire, and Tim Shahida will be patrolling things down the third base line. 1 down, and that'll bring up Donnie Hill. Hill hitting .194 as he comes into this game. He's a switch hitter, batting, of course, from the right-hand side against the left-hander Tanana. Hill coming over to trade this year from the Oakland A's for Gene Nelson, along with Bruce Tanner's son.
So many of the things that the White Sox had to do to try to make them an improved ball club is because of really past players that perform well not being able to perform. Lamar Hoyt traded to try to acquire some young players. Donnie Hill after Julio Cruz with a long-term contract coming up with turf toe.
So the count now, 2 balls, no strikes on Hill. Jim Fregosi winning 2 out of 3 against Yankees. Boy, what a tough loss it was yesterday, though, as Hill fouls this one back, and the count now goes to 2 balls and a strike. They had a perfect game going to Comiskey Park. Richard Dotson, 7 1/3 innings, eventually losing that game, but they said there was electricity in Chicago yesterday during that particular game. Donnie Hill with a 2-1 count on him. 1 down, Tanana, slow breaking pitch, grounded foul, third base side. So I mentioned Hill coming over in the trade for Gene Nelson and Bruce Tanner, who is Chuck Tanner's son. I think I got him reversed, but Gene Nelson's been a very fine reliever for Oakland, and this guy has been pressed into service at second base as well as third base this year.
Well, great throwing arm, but a lifetime .283 hitter. He's hitting 190 something, so having an off year, and it makes the trade look a lot worse than it really may turn out to be.
Former Arizona State standout grounds that one foul, and the count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jim, coming to this ballpark tonight, I noticed you kind of cringed when you came in here. I guess being a hitter's ballpark, all pitchers get very nervous here.
Well, it's just the environment. You're looking at Sparky Anderson. We talked about him always having Johnny Bench, Lance Parrish. He's always had good hitting ball clubs, and when you walk into this park, it used to be all green, now it's all blue. Fences are easily reachable.
Here it goes to right center field, hustling over, fine running catches Sheridan.
Well, Jerry, I talked about former outfielder for the Royals, and when you play in Kansas City, the biggest outfield maybe other than Yankee Stadium in the American League, you have to have good range. He also has a good throwing arm. Here's a mistake, fastball up out over the plate. Hill likes the ball there, hits it right on the line, and then the defense takes over. Has it all the way, down on one knee. Could have been a gapper for 2.
And that'll bring up one of the most underrated players, maybe the most underrated player in the American League in Harold Baines. There's Sheridan playing right field. That was the place Kirk Gibson was in last year. They moved him to left. Sheridan, good defensive outfielder, making the fine running catch, and there's 2 down. Tanana's pitch, a called strike to Baines. So Baines back in the lineup. He was as the DH, now moving back into the right field position for the first time since opening day. Called strike, 0-2. Hitting .307. He dropped out of the top 10 in batting, but he's been close to that level most of the season.
Knee surgery on the right knee.
Line to left field, and it's curving foul. Pretty good wood on the ball, and the count stays at 2 strikes. Frank Tanana, as we mentioned, has been pitching for a long time. Had outstanding success with the Angels. Went over to Texas, then coming over to the Tigers. Had 19 wins in one season. He thought he had the 3rd strike there, but it misses, and the count goes to 1-2.
Well, that's one of those pitches where you try to induce the home plate umpire, Davy Phillips, walk off the mound. Maybe you convince him it's a strike. Just around. He'll tell you it's just around the corner. Didn't catch it.
He got him anyway. Struck him out. So it's a 3-up and 3-down inning here in the top half of the 1st inning. No score here at Tiger Stadium. We'll return to ABC's Monday Night Baseball after this message and a word from our local station. The Tigers, who are 2nd in batting in the American League, will lead off with Lou Whitaker. Lou out of the lineup yesterday. He's been having some problems with the back. Bill Madlock, what an addition he is from the Los Angeles Dodgers, who'll be the DH. Kirk Gibson will be in left field. Alan Trammell, their cleanup hitter all year long at shortstop. Matt Noakes, who was hit by a pitch ball but able to return today. Darrell Evans will be at first base. Chet Lemon will be batting 7th in center field. Pat Sheridan, who made that fine running catch in right field, will bat 8th. And Tom Brookins, the 3rd baseman, will bat in the 9th position.
Look at the White Sox defense. Starting behind the plate, the H&1 at 39, Carlton Fisk. First base. Hairston doesn't play there very often, mainly known for his pinch hitting. Fred Manrique at 2nd. The man was Rookie of the Year in 1985. Ozzie Guillen at short. Donnie Hill with a great arm at 3rd. Ivan Calderon in left. Kenny Williams, 9-3 sprinter in center, covers a lot of bases, and in his first game this year, other than a DH, Harold Baines in right field.
And on the mound, Scott Nielsen, a former standout for Brigham Young University, where he was a teammate of Corey Snyder, along with Wally Joyner. Nielsen, a last-second replacement, or I should say a replacement today, because Jose De Leon, who was expected to start, was hurt in a car wreck en route to O'Hara to fly out. He has a bruised jaw and a sore back. He is expected to get here before the day is over, but not to pitch.
Well, sinker baller with a little bit of a breaking ball and not too good of a changeup. One of these guys does not throw that hard, about 82, 83 miles per hour.
Whitaker grounds it right side, and Manrique comes up with a fine play to get him. Covering a lot of ground, Fred Manrique, picked up this year from the St. Louis Cardinals, the trade for pitcher Bill Dolly.
Well, Fred played for Jimmy Fregosi in Louisville. And a lot of times in the minors, you see somebody you like. You hit a 285 for him, could steal bases, good range. And you see that ball slowed up by the high grass here at Tiger Stadium. Plenty of time. Whitaker makes it close, but he is out.
Jerry Hairston down at first base making that catch, and that brings up Bill Madlock, hitting 295. 10 home runs, 3 of them in 1 game, and what a steal this guy has been for Detroit.
Well, it's turned out to be that. The Tigers' the best record in the American League against right-handers, struggling against left-handers, 10 and 15 record. So he comes over here, and you can see right there, pretty good percentage. You talked about the 45 out of 60 wins after 11 and 19 start.
Good cut by the right-handed hitter, and that one will make it into the stands. Madlock 4 times the National League batting champion.
An MVP, been around the block, so to speak. So struggled with the Dodgers, had a lot of leg injuries last year. An advanced age, around 37. A little bit heavier than he played at an early age, but he can still hit very short stroke.
He makes good contact, doesn't strike out that much. Looks at this one inside, and the count goes to 3 balls and a strike. Madlock 3 times in the All-Star game, 4 times the National League batting champion, 36 years of age now. 3-1 pitch, he had a notion, and it's there anyway. The count's full now at 3-2. Madlock checking it over with home plate umpire Dave Phillips. Boy, he's got a love hitting in this ballpark.
Well, he does. Yeah, and I think he asked him whether was it a strike or did I swing, and Davey Phillips said you didn't swing, it was a strike, that's a ball. He goes down to first.
So the first base runner of the ball game. That's going to bring up Kirk Gibson. Madlock at first, 1 down. Kirk hitting .271 with 13 home runs, 46 RBIs. He got a late start this year. He's out the first 24 games with a very freak injury. It happened down in spring training. He tore the muscle in his rib cage swinging in batting practice in the batting cage. Very unusual injury, and as Alan Trammell said, we're just not the same ball club with him out of the lineup.
One of two players with over 25 home runs and 25 steals in the major leagues over the last couple of years, and that's Darryl Strawberries and Kirk Gibson. So a rare breed, can run and hit with power.
Scott Nielsen misses outside, and the count goes 1 ball, no strikes. Madlock down at first, Hairston holding him on. No score, bottom of the first inning, just underway at Tiger Stadium. The right-hander delivers, grounded to second. Manrique will go to second for the force. The relay to first, not in time. Not thrown very well, and Gibson can run well, so he's able to keep from being doubled up down that first base line.
Well, the key to breaking up a double play is getting down there. Madlock goes right at Guillen. And again, Gibson's speed just outruns the ball. Not very pleased trying to pull an outside pitch, a ball that he normally tries to hit the left field, but that's Nielsen's bag. He's trying to sink the ball away from the left-handers. If he can do that and they try to pull the ball, we're going to see what we saw last Monday night. Tommy John, 22 grounders, or at least 22 putouts by Don Mattingly. A lot of ground balls. We've already seen both outs being grounders.
Did he get that new suit of clothes for all that?
I don't know.
Alan Trammell up. What a year he is having, hitting .334. That's third in the American League. He is also sixth in hits, 114 coming into this ball game. Trammell, the cleanup batter, and replacing Lance Parrish, who had that role a year ago.
Gibson can run. 18 stolen bases on the year, only been thrown out 4 times.
Nielsen very aware of that. Nielsen, 28 years of age, last year had arm rehabilitation. Had to battle back, the former Yankee. Acquired in a trade. There's the pitch outside, a called strike, a throw down to second, and Gibson's in there. It's impressive to me. A guy as big as Gibson can run like that. Well, he's 6'3", 215.
This is a parallel to Bo Jackson. I pitched against Gibson again, an excellent jump. Nielsen 6'3", takes a long time to get rid of it. Doesn't matter what kind of throw Fisk makes. It's a little bit up the line, a little bit up, but Gibson in easily. But a lot of raw ability, very much like Bo Jackson, can hit the ball 475 feet, can run. And again, when you look at a player like this, a lot of times you forget that a lot of the skills in baseball have to be innate. Doesn't matter how far you can hit the ball, how fast you can run, but can you hit the curveball? Do you have the baseball instinct? It's taken Gibson a while to learn those. Bo Jackson has a long way to go.
You can see Trammell's been in that cleanup position every game. 1-1 the count on him. Nielsen's pitch grounded to second. Manrique down with a glove. He'll go to first, and that'll get him out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We'll return to ABC's Monday Night Baseball after this message and a word from our local stations. Well, last week, I understand, here in Detroit, it was sizzling hot. But look at this. Outstanding weather for baseball. 83 degrees. Wind really of no factor. Of course, I think all pitchers that come in here think the wind's always blowing out. And the humidity, look at that. That might be a record, 26%, the middle or the last part of July.
Well, they said it was in the 90s last week, 90, 95 with humidity to match. As you said, perfect night to play a baseball game.
Ivan Calderon is now up. He is probably one of the bigger surprises this year on this White Sox club. Been playing right field and now moves to left with the addition of Baines in right field. And he swings on the first pitch and hits it up the middle for a base hit.
He's pretty much been able to do that all year, Gary. If you pitch him away, he goes to right field. He's been able to hit home runs. Last year started off with Dick Williams out in Seattle. 38 games, struck out 33 times. So they sent him out. He was traded to the White Sox. He supplied them with power, with average. And they're very pleasantly surprised about the fact that he has been able to hit to all fields. Led the Puerto Rican League with 10 home runs over the winter.
That brings brings up the veteran Jerry Hairston. He holds the Sox record for pinch hits, but forced into the lineup today because Greg Walker's grandfather passed away in Douglas, Georgia, and he had to go down for the funeral, so he's not in uniform tonight. So Hairston, unfamiliar role at first base, squares around to Zoda Butt and takes it for ball one. So 1 on, nobody out. Hairston to be followed by the veteran Carlton Fisk. Actually, Jim Fragosi's playing with about a 22-man roster when you figure De Leon is not able to play. Greg Walker not here tonight. And Frank Tanana, the runner on, and nobody out here in the top half of the second inning.
And what makes Tanana so deceptive is he throws across his body. Watch where his right foot lands.
Grounded, cut off this time by the shortstop Trammell. He goes to Whitaker to first, and they get the double play. Beautifully executed. And Jim, that is not surprising. The way Whitaker and Trammell work around that keystone spot.
You can see across his body, he delivers the ball. And Hairston, trying to hit it up the middle, does that. But this is where defense counts. Trammell playing up the middle. Hairston not a pull hitter. And when the ball's hit that hard, and you got Lou Whitaker at the other end of the receiving end of a double play, you know you're going to turn two, and they did.
Well, those guys have been playing together for 10 years.
Came up on the same day, something like 1,260 games each going into this season. Complemented themselves so well, both offensively and defensively.
And here comes the veteran, Carlton Fisk, 39-year-old veteran, and tonight catching in his 1,712th game, which ties Bill Dickey 9th on the all-time list. And you got to figure Carlton would be much further ahead, but at the start of the year, he was not catching for this ball club.
Well, neither was he in 1986. You go back to Kenny Harrelson, coming off a year when he hit 37 home runs, 107 RBIs, he decided to make a left fielder out of him. Now, and if you know the theory about what he was trying to do, it makes sense. That was, he felt he would be able to play more games in left field than he would catching. Unfortunately, Fisk had a virus, he had a wrist injury, a jammed thumb, had an awful year. This year putting pretty good numbers up there.
Well, his big number is 11 game-winning RBIs. So with 2 out, he fouls it back, and you got to be alert here. Let me tell you something. I've got the best protection in the world. I got a 4-time Gold Glover by me. Jim Palmer is going to bail me out.
Well, my best protection is this monitor sitting in front of me.
You didn't even flinch on that one.
Well, that's because I didn't know it was coming this close. This is a great ballpark, and you can see us. We're right about right over that ABC banner. But the fans are very close. This, along with Fenway Park, are the 2 special parks in the American League. You're so close to the field.
It's spectacular. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Call strike on Fisk. This guy has been a 10-time selection to the All-Star team. He is 3rd all-time in home runs for catchers. Johnny Bench first and Yogi Berra second.
Pretty good names there.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. A double play, erasing the leadoff single to start this inning. That's low, and the count goes to 2-2.
The thing about Tanana is that he only really has 3 pitches. The curveball, an excellent changeup, and a fastball. The same pitches he had back in 1973 and 1974, where he struck out over 260 batters. But he'll throw them anytime. You can never, ever, 3-2, whatever, look for any particular pitch.
Here's a 2-2 to Fisk, and this one comes straight back. Well, Tanana is 34 years of age. He is a Detroit native. He was born here and went to Catholic Central High School. He's an all-state baseball and basketball player. Fisk now with a 2-2 count on him. Tanana, flamethrower to a finesse pitcher, and I got a lot of credit, got to give him a lot of credit for making that adjustment.
Well, he has, and he pitches the same way. He always had excellent control, and the reason he was able to strike out all those batters, it helps to have a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, but he also had pinpoint control. Very few left-handers can pitch inside to right-handers, and this is where he's going right now, as well as Tanana.
Oh, strike 3. And so with the help of the double play, 2 strikeouts in the ball game now. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. No scores to go to the bottom of the second.
Tigers fans have to be happy with what's going on in Toronto right now. The Red Sox and the Jays in the second inning. Mike Greenwell for Boston with 2 men on. rifles one over the wall in right field. His 11th home run. Boston leads 4-1 right now. It's 5-2 Boston in the third.
Corey, thank you for that update. Matt Noakes is having a sensational year. Under ordinary circumstances, he'd probably be Rookie of the Year, except there's a guy by the name of Mark McGwire.
That doesn't bother me at all. He's a great guy and a great player. He's my friend, and I just hope the best for him.
You look at this guy, he's on course to, along with McGwire, break the American League rookie record for home runs as he lines that one to left field for a base hit. And Noakes, the estimation of Sparky Anderson, Jim, is a very, very smart hitter. Boy, you don't fool him on the same pitch twice.
Well, he said he learns very quickly, and right there you can learn by sitting on the bench. And if he has been watching Scott Nielsen, he's realized that he's turning the ball over, trying to go away from him. He did do that, and where did Noakes go? To left field with him. There's a tendency, Gary, as you said, when you walk in this ballpark, just like you do in Fenway Park or any home run ballpark, and there's so many in the American League, is to try to become a pull hitter. Noakes can pull, but only when it really counts and when he gets a pitch to his liking.
So that's the Tigers' first hit of the ball game, and Darrell Evans is up. Evans with 20 home runs, 56 RBIs. Pitch outside from Nielsen. The count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. To further elaborate on the performance by Noakes, Al Rosen has the American League record for rookie home runs. That was 37. He set that in 1950 with the Cleveland Indians. McGwire's 1 away from tying it. Noakes comes in here with 21 home runs. That shows you what young talent has been coming into this league the last 2 years.
Well, Pete Rose made a nice statement, though. He said, I doubt if McGwire will hit 50. He says, I hope he does because it's one of the records I don't hold. But he said he feels that baseball will adjust.
2-0 pitch to Evans, and he gets a piece of it and fouls it back.
As will the American League to Matt Noakes. They are going to pitch him away, and if he hits the ball to left field like he just did, he'll keep his average over 300. You're going to get the 2-0 pitches like Darrell Evans just got, the balls you can drive. And that's how Evans, 29 home runs last year, 40 the year before, was able to hit home runs at age 40.
Looks at this one low, and the count goes to 3-1.
Good eye, discipline. Go back to 1973, where he hit 40 home runs at Atlanta. 41 home runs a year. Davey Johnson hit 43.
And that was the year Aaron had only 40, as I remember, right? He had a bad year. Fly ball, center field, hit very high. Going back is Ken Williams, the center fielder, and he'll put it away. He just got under that one. And retreating back to first base is Matt Noakes. 1 down, and that'll bring up Chet Lemon.
A little disappointed, but again, you got to give Nielsen some credit. You get behind 3-1, you have a legitimate home run hitter. Second to only Mike Schmidt in the major leagues the last 2 years as far as the quantity of home runs. You make a good pitch, and instead of a home run down the right field line, a fly ball to center field.
But I'll bet you in Tiger Stadium, you kind of peek over your shoulder when they're hit that high, even at that particular point. It's a nervous situation. You're pitching here in Tiger Stadium. Chet Lemon is up. Boy, he's been hitting the ball. This is grounded to short. Guillen will go to second for the force. The relay to first in a beautiful twin killing. Both teams now with double plays. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. We've played 2 at Tiger Stadium. There's no score. A look from center field here at Tiger Stadium. Gary Bender along with Jim Palmer. We've played 2 innings, no score. Frank Tanana against Scott Nielsen, as leading off will be Ken Williams. He'll be followed by Fred Manrique and then Ozzie Guillen. Ken Williams. I don't know if a lot of people realize what an athlete this guy is. He was an outstanding football player at Stanford. He was running kickoffs and punt returns for the Stanford Cardinal the year that John Elway was the quarterback. Played 1 year, freshman year, and then went into baseball. He doesn't have world-class speed, but he's close to it.
9'3"?
Well, is that? I don't know. Maybe that is world-class.
Well, in the baseball world, it sure is.
Grounded foul, third base side. But you know, you always hear about these 9'3", 9'2" guys. There's not a lot of them. But
well, maybe we ought to root for a gapper and see how quick he is.
I imagine.
I know he's awfully strong. I watched him take batting practice, and batting practice, of course, is not the game. Because Frank Tanana is not pitching batting practice, changing speeds, throwing that looping curveball, running the ball in on you and running it away. But what Jim Fregosi likes about him is he's got a great throwing arm. He can hit the ball out anywhere. So what they want him to do is hit the ball right back at Tanana. Make him stay on the ball.
1-1 pitch, and he swings through that one. The count goes 1-2. They thought this guy might be in AAA this year, but they moved him up, and he's steadily improved. Way behind on that pitch.
And also out of the strike zone, and that's something a young hitter has to learn, discipline.
1-2, grounded third base side. Brookins will come up throwing to Darrell Evans, and they get the leadoff man. This reminder, beginning at 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, we'll have highlights of the U.S. Women's Open from Plainfield Country Club. An 18-hole playoff tomorrow. We have a 3-way tie. Joanne Carner, who has won this already 2 times. Laurie Davies from Great Britain. She can hit the ball further than you and I, Jim Palmer, easily. And Okamoto from Japan. 4 o'clock Eastern. They had a rain out, and then they ended up with the deadlock. Carner was leading by 1 stroke going into 18. She bogeyed 18 and ended up in the 18-hole playoff. Can Davies hit the ball a long ways? Did you see that?
Close. In your hometown, anybody can hit the ball 300 yards in Phoenix.
Sure. If you have ability. If you have ability.
Just finding is the problem.
1 down with Manrique hitting .219. He's playing now. A lot of second base coming over from the Cardinals, and they feel he, along with Guillen, can play a double play as well as anybody. They're very high on him defensively.
Well, it's nice to have a good AAA year and then have the manager that is your manager in AAA get a big league job, as Jim Fregosi did. Find yourself in the big leagues. Went to contact lenses. He wears glasses. He's worn them all year 4 days ago, and he said he is seeing the ball better.
Well, he didn't see that one very well. It's 2-1. Another guy is Donnie Hill. He's been having all kinds of problems with his eyes, playing third base today for the White Sox. Puts his contacts in just before the start of the game, and he swings through that one, and he struck him out. He held on the foul tip. Nope, he didn't, and the count goes to 2-2.
Well, a curveball. Try to stay back, and you just can't stay back, and you're just out on your front foot, and you reach for it.
There he got him. Manrique going down, and that is the 3rd strikeout in the ball game for Frank Tanana. So there's more than one way to strike out a batter. You can do it without the hard, high heat that this guy's thrown in his previous career.
Well, this is Frank Tanana of really 14 years ago, except that it's maybe 12 or 13 miles per hour slower. Same control, same great curveball, same good changeup. In and out.
Ozzie Guillen is up, hitting .294. He's been in the leadoff position a lot this year for the White Sox. They love this guy's enthusiasm. He's very exuberant out there, and he can pick them with the best at shortstop. Slow breaking pitch, line to short, and Trammell will put it away, and it's a 3-up and 3-down inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. We go now to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Still no score at Tiger Stadium.
This is Corey McFerrin in New York. A painful moment in the Dodgers-Giants game. Bottom of 1, John Shelby the batter, Kelly Downs the pitcher, line drive off Downs' arm. Can't find the baseball. Pedro Guerrero scores. Downs forced to leave the game. The severity of the injury to his pitching arm not yet known. L.A. leads 3-1. Joe Price, the new pitcher. Back to Gary and Jim in Detroit.
Jim, I would assume you've had a couple of those come back at you like that.
Oh, yes. That's when that happens is you're trying to pitch somebody away and they're trying to pull the ball, and the result is a line drive right back at you. But you see those because the ball's out over the plate and you see the ball come off the bat. The most difficult ball to really react to is the ball in. But you think the hitter's going to pull and he insides it out. You don't see it. It comes out of the uniform, and sometimes you really get hit hard with it.
Pat Sheridan leading things off, grounds it foul. Count goes to 2 strikes. Scott Nielsen pitching here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, replacing Jose De Leon, who was hurt in an auto accident. Not seriously, but not able to pitch tonight, and thus far has fared well. Foul down the left field line by Sheridan. Sheridan, a former Kansas City Royal, struggled. He has come over here, worked with Harry Walker, who is now the baseball coach at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and worked on hitting the ball up the middle. That's really helped him.
Well, Harry the Hat always wanted you to hit the ball, hit down the ball, hit the ball the other way. More of a front foot hitter. Of course, you look at Sheridan, he's wiry, has pretty good size, and you said, here's a guy that can hit home runs. He never did it in Kansas City because it's a very big ballpark. That's not his style.
One through that one. One down here in the bottom of the third. Well, we've had a couple of updates. One of those was the Boston-Toronto game. Let's look at it. 5-2 now in the third. Greenwell, along with Ellis Burks, had home runs in that ball game. Milwaukee, Texas, no score, just underway. Minnesota, Frank Viola going against Mark Langston, the hard-throwing left-hander. McCaskill is back now with the Angels, and Stewart has had quite a year for Oakland. The pitch inside to Tom Brookins. That strikeout of Sheridan, the first of the game for Scott Nielsen. Brookins, one of the favorites of Sparky Anderson, hard-nosed type player. Kind of the guy that they wait around, try to find a third baseman. They seem to come back to him so often. As he fouls this one back, then the count goes to 1-1. In fact, Jim, I think this is the 9th time that he's won the third base job for the Detroit Tigers.
Well, sometimes by default, but he can play so many positions, so he's a good guy to have in your ball club.
He got under this one, short left field. Coming in is Baines, and he's going to make the catch. A little confusion there for a moment. I see Guillen make that Calderon, I'm sorry, in left field making the catch. Guillen racing back, and Calderon, who has been making most of those plays in right field, coming up that one in left field. Two down.
Tough sky, Gary. This is the time of night. It's tough to see the ball. It came in last night, 9 o'clock. It still wasn't dark, so when the ball comes off the bat and gets up in that high sky, a lot of times the shortstop will lose it. Calderon was there to make the out.
That'll bring up Whitaker, who grounded out to the second baseman the first time. This guy has been hitting very well as of late. As I said, not playing yesterday. He fouls this one behind the plate. Fisk will take a look at it, but he'll have no play. Whitaker on Saturday hitting a home run with 2 out in the 10th. Posting the victory over California. As the sun starts to set, the lights taking. A lot of people, Jim, feel this is one of the best lighted ballparks in the major leagues.
They put new lights in here about 10 years ago, and I don't know if they're just the brightest or there are more of them, but it's, again, another reason like you like to come here if you're a hitter. Low pitching mound, doesn't slope that much. Short fences, well lit.
2-1 now on Sweet Lou. Whitaker had won 3 out of 4 for the Tigers, and Sparky Anderson said that's the kind of hitter he is. He could carry us for a while. He's a streaky hitter. He could carry us for 2 months.
Well, he hit 20 home runs last year and doesn't hit that many against lefties, but in this situation where you have to throw a strike, the 2-0, the 3-1, in this ballpark, very quick bat becomes a home run threat.
3-1 pitch to Whitaker, and it's outside, and he's walked him down first base with 2 away.
And that's the difference between Lou Whitaker now and 5 or 6 years ago. You did not have to really be aware of the home run. You just pitch him out over the plate and he'd go the other way. Now he'll take that ball and put it in the upper deck here in right field.
Second walk of the game now by Scott Nielsen, and that'll bring up Bill Madlock. He walked the last time out and then was erased on a force at second base. Madlock, at 36 years of age, grew up in the Decatur, Illinois area. Started with the Cubs, went to the Pirates, the Dodgers. Won 2 batting titles with the Cubs, 2 with the Pirates. One ball, no strike on this right-handed hitter. Tigers have the best record in baseball against right-handed pitchers. They've had a tough time, though, with the left-handers.
And that's basically because you have Gibson, you have Whitaker, you have Noakes that are neutralized by left-handed pitching.
Inside to Bill, the count goes to 2-0. Their record against right-handers is almost 66%. They've won 46 and lost 24. Against left-handers, they're 15 and 25. Pitch to Madlock. Grounded and cut off by Guillen. Throw to second. He's safe at second.
Well, Guillen, rookie of the year, 12 errors his first year, 22 last year. known for his glove, even though he's having a good year with the bat, as far as you can go, and this is where Whitaker's speed helps. Makes the play, but not in time.
A lot of people never gotten to that ball, but Guillen did.
Makes it close, but not close enough. Enrique with a nice stretch, knowing it's a force play.
The runners now at first and second with 2 down, and that brings up Gibson. Gibson reached on a fielder's choice and then swiped second base back in the first inning. So Scott Nielsen in a jam with 2 down, and it's foul. 1 strike on Gibson. I talked to Kirk before the game about Bo Jackson. I said, what would you say to Bo Jackson if you're going to make that transition from baseball to football? He said, one thing I'd say is don't tell anybody it's going to be a hobby. And that's been picked up quite a bit. This guy can play in the NFL if he wanted to. I'm convinced. I saw him play at Michigan State. He's something special. Grounded, foul, first base side. 2 strikes.
But not at this stage of his career, most likely.
I don't think at 30 years of age he's going to try it. In fact, I asked him that. He said, nope, I'm happy here. I love playing near to my hometown. But when he was at Michigan State, he had 112 catches going for 24 touchdowns. Drafted by the Cardinals. And they made a concerted effort to try to get him in a uniform. Could not.
Well, that's why when he came up to the major leagues at an early age, he really had to learn the game. Bo Jackson, like 83 games before he came to the major leagues, so he is learning at a major league level.
2 runners on with 2 down, and that pitch misses, and the count goes to 1-2. You can see how Guillen has shifted over almost to behind second base. The shift on for this left-handed hitter.
Well, only in the infield, pretty much straight away in the outfield. Again, a lot of times you do this, try to make him think he wants to go to left. That's where you want him to hit the ball.
Fouled again, and the count stays at 1-2. So after getting the first 2 men in the inning, Nielsen walked 1, and then outstanding effort by Guillen was short at second. So runners at first and second now with 2 down. Gibson with a count of 1-2. Boy, is he dangerous in this kind of spot. That short right field fence has to give Nielsen some trouble. Misses, and it evens now at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Scott Nielsen has been one of those all or nothing pitchers. He has 7 major league wins, and Jim, 3 of them have been shutouts.
As we said, when he has the sinker going, and what he'd like to do is have Gibson chase the ball. Not that great of stuff. Going to be not that effective inside the strike zone.
Grounded to second, Manrique, and they're going to get out of the inning. Up to Hairston. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 left. We have now played 3. Still, we're scoreless. One of the changes the Tigers made this year was moving Kirk Gibson from right field to left field. I asked him about what kind of problems that poses for him.
Well, I didn't like it at first. Of course, nobody likes to switch. I switched quite a few years, throughout my career. But whatever is the manager is the manager, and my job is to go out and give 100% wherever I'm asked to play. So I went out there and worked hard, and now I'm starting to get used to it, and I'm quite frankly enjoying it now.
What's the big difference, Kirk, from right to left field?
Well, the difference basically is just the way the ball is going to come off the bat, the way it's going to hook, the way it's going to tail. And in left field, it's just the exact opposite of what it is in right field. And there's a lot more area for me to cover over there in Tiger Stadium. It's the short fence in right field, and it's a little deeper in left field. And just have to learn where to play different depths and learn how to cheat in a whole different place.
Well, he's learned to cheat very well. He's played it very effectively. Gary Reedus leading things off now for the White Sox here in the top of the 4th. He flied to center field the first time. 1-1 the count on him. As Tanata has one grounded by the mound, and Whitaker will come up throwing, and there's 1 up and 1 down. Getting back to Kirk Gibson. There's some advantages, Jim, being left-handed in left field. I saw him make a catch in the series against California where only a left-hander could have gotten to the foul line and made that grab.
Well, again, he's very much like Kenny Williams, the center fielder for the White Sox. He, early in an infancy here at the Major Leagues, would literally outrun balls. Again, A lot of times, I think the great outfielders that I played with, the Paul Blairs, had that innate ability to run to where the ball was coming down. He's had to learn not to run across, but to run back to where the ball is going to come down. And he has a good arm, but it's very inaccurate. Of all major league outfielders with he's played 700 games. He's only had like 15 assists coming into this year. The only guy with less assists is Don Baylor, who hurt his arm as a high school football player. So he really has a good arm, but has never used it to the best of his advantage. And I think Sparky just felt that maybe left field would be a better position. And he's got him in a very good position. One game back with less losses than either Yankees or Toronto. And that's what counts, the loss column.
One strike on Donnie Hill, and the pitch misses, and it evens up at 1-1. Second position for the White Sox has not fared too well. They've had different leadoff men, Guillen and Reedus. Reedus leading off tonight. Donnie Hill in that position now. 1 ball, 1 strike on Hill, and he hit this one deep to left. Gibson going back, and that one is out of here. Home run for Donnie Hill. Only his 4th of the year.
Exactly the number that he hit last year. Change up in the strike zone. As we said, you make a mistake here, it can hurt you. But again, it is not a crisis situation. It's only a solo home run. If you're going to throw them, that's the way you want to throw them. Good swing, ball about thigh high. Great extension by Hill, and as you said, has had eye trouble all year and has not been the hitter they traded for.
Harold Baines is up, a call strike. So Donnie Hill must have seen that graphic we put up just before the home run. He took exception to it. Not a productive second position, but he hit his 4th home run, 21st RBI, and Baines way out of hit on that one, and it's 0-2. Baines with 16 home runs. He's the all-time leading home run hitter for the Chicago White Sox. Look at this. This doesn't look very good, Jim.
Well, again, across the body, the big curveball. Excuse me. Baines can hit left-handers.
Grounds this one foul, and the count will stay at 2 strikes. You know, the interesting thing to me, Jim, is Harold Baines is the all-time leading White Sox home run hitter. He just passed Bill Melton on Wednesday at his 155th. You'd think in all the years of the White Sox that somebody would have hit a lot more home runs than that.
Well, if I think back, and of course, when I was a kid in high school, I think back to 59 White Sox, and they were known for their speeds. Aparicio, Fox, not a home run. Skowron, of course, might have been with the Yankees then, eventually went with him. Dick Allen went over there, but did not play that many years. They've always been a team that's been accentuated with pitching and defense.
Well, that 59 team was something. Jungle Jim Rivera. Was Minoso on that team? Did he come after that? I
believe so.
And then Jim Landis in center. Aparicio, Fox, you mentioned those.
Al Lopez, the manager.
Yeah. Sherm Lawler was the catcher. Our producer, Peter Lasser, says that was before his time. He's not that young, is he?
Doesn't look that young, but he is.
Well, working with us would do that, too. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. 1-0, the score on the home run by Donnie Hill with 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning.
Most likely Baines with 5 consecutive over 20 home run years, and with 16 looks like he's headed towards his 6th.
Boy, he took something off that pitch, and Baines hit it up and off his back. That might have smarted a little bit. But there's Tanana again, Jim, at the best. Just changing speeds, really getting you out on that front foot.
Well, he's showed you the fastball enough where he's established it. So with 2 strikes, you're trying to protect the plate. You're looking for the ball. And again, you can have a curveball and just a fastball and a changeup, but you can throw at different speeds, and you can drop down a little bit. Here's a fastball right down the middle of the plate, and he takes it for strike 3. Never even offered.
That is the 4th strikeout in the ball game for Tanana, and Calderon will come up, who singled back in the 2nd inning.
Talk about setting up your pitches. I mean, that ball was down the middle. Of course, Baines, I mean, once you establish a curveball, I mean, it just makes the fastball that much quicker. And we talked about 95 miles per hour back in the early 70s. I know we have a radar gun. It'd be interesting to see how hard Tanana's throwing tonight, but I would say it's probably somewhere around 83, 84 miles per hour. But to drop that curveball off and the fastball looks about 90.
by basis of comparison. 1 strike to Calderon, strike 2 call, and Tanana now is really picking at the corner.
I saw a game in Baltimore yesterday. Charlie Leibrandt stopped an 11-game Oriole win streak. 2-hitter, perfect game through 5. Hit, I think, in the 6th inning by Gerhardt, and then in the 9th on the edges, and that's where Tanana is tonight.
Grounded foul by Ivan. Sparky Anderson, George Lee Anderson, the Dean of Managers in the American League.
And talking about Frank Tanana, Sparky said what he has done, he has tried to get him to repeat his pitches. In other words, show a batter a couple of curveballs, a couple of fastballs. Just don't go from one pitch to another.
Jim, he was calling the pitches for a long time when Noakes was behind the plate, but I guess he's turned that back over to him.
Well, it depends who's pitching. A guy like Tanana, who's been pitching in his 14th year, he just shake off. When you have a younger pitcher, some of their middle relievers like King and Henneman, Noakes just looks over. Sparky will change signs. He goes to his face 3 or 4 different pats, means different pitches. He'll change the signs 3 or 4 different times during a ball game.
1 and 2, and he comes inside, and the count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And way inside, and let's see where he goes now. 2 and 2. He's run him off the plate. We've seen this year where you've had a lot of hits, batsmen, people throwing at each other. Now that was a purpose pitch.
Let's see what happens now. 2 and 2, and you called it. This one goes to the backstop, and the count's full. Well, you had that one ticketed all the way. You must be inside Tanana's head, the 34-year veteran.
Actually, what I'm doing is what everybody can do at home. You just watch the catcher. And when you watch a catcher like Noakes or any catcher, if he moves and the pitcher is throwing the ball with good stuff where he's moving to, you're going to be successful more times than not.
Grounded back to the mound. Tanana will go to first base. That'll retire the side. So there's 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. The White Sox, on the home run by Donnie Hill, have taken a 1-0 lead. Well, Donnie Hill, the difference in this ball game, you expect the Tigers to have the long ball, but here's the White Sox with
just
the long
as we
ball.
called it. Home run hitting ballpark. We're in the 4th inning. It's 1-0. I thought, with Jose De Leon, who in the car wreck, who was the best 5 and 9 pitcher, you'd expect this type of ball game. But Nielsen, supposedly off and on type of games, pitching extremely well. And the Tigers, as we said, leading the American League in home runs and runs scored, aren't on the board. But it's early.
Well, Scott Nielsen is one of those guys, though. When he's on, he's on. And right now, he has a 1-0 lead. Alan Trammell will lead things off, followed by Matt Noakes and Darrell Evans. Trammell grounded out to the second baseman the first time. '28-year-old right-hander Nielsen delivers it to Trammell, hits it deep to left, going back Calderon, and the ball is caught. Oh, what a catch!
Well, I talked about in the opening. They are not a good ball club, but they are playing with great intensity. The Yankees go into Chicago, 3-game series. They lose 2 of them. I saw this one time before, Paul Blair for the final out. There is a ridge on top of that scoreboard. Right here, Calderon thinks the ball is gone. Then he jumps. Scales the fence in the webbing. Unbelievable.
I thought he went up too early and he wasn't going to have any chance.
You can see the ridge he's standing on.
Oh, what a
I used to practice that in batting practice out here.
Is that right?
But I never caught one.
1 down. So it looked like the Tigers were going to tie it up. Matt Noakes coming up. Calderon just nonchalantly checking to see if the glove's still in one piece. Earlier this year, Darrell Boston made a great catch for the White Sox in left field. They've got some guys that can cover ground out there. Noakes grounds it to second base. Enrique will go to Hairston. There's 2 up and 2 down. Well, we saw what Calderon did. What about Scott Nielsen, his reaction to this blow?
Well, if you look out at that power alley, it's only 365. So to hit a home run in that area, it's got to go about 360 feet. And right here, he's concerned.
I think that's putting it mildly. 2 down, and Darrell Evans, who flied to center the first time up. Well, that was some catch. You can see why Fergosi's so excited about his outfit. He's got Baines back. He's got Williams in center, Calderon, and also Darrell Boston. He has some guys who can get the ball out in that outfield.
Well, what the White Sox are trying to do, and it's not really helping them immediately, as you look at Evans over the last couple of years. 29 last year, 40 the year before.
Well, he hit his 20th home run last weekend. That's the 9th time in 19 years he's hit at least 20. There's Bell tied with him. Barfield, boy, what an outfield Toronto has. Barfield hit a home run tonight, by the way.
But going back, they are trying to rebuild the Chicago ball club in the minor leagues, so immediate help is really not on the way. They tried to make some stopgap trades. We saw Donnie Hill, a trade where they gave up Gene Nelson, pretty good pitcher that's helped Oakland, to try to get a guy that can play second and third. He's the difference in this game right now.
2 balls to strike. Evans grounded right side. Manrique comes up with it, and he's covered a lot of ground out there. So it's 3 up and 3 down. 1-0. The White Sox with the lead after 4. We'll return to ABC's Monday Night Baseball after this message and news headlines from our local stations. This reminder, later tonight, following Nightline, ABC Sports presents Monday Sports Night with Al Troutwig, the selection of the 1988 Olympic hockey team. Dave Peterson, the coach who made the selections, will appear on the show. Also, a special look at the Special Olympics, plus guests George Brett, Jackie Joyner-Kersey, and more. All follows Nightline tonight on ABC Sports. Mike Ruzioni, the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey captain, will also be on the show tonight when they announce the Olympic hockey team. As all of that will be coming your way later from Calgary right here on ABC, the Winter Olympics. Leading things off now will be Jerry Hairston. He hit into a double play back in the second inning. He'll be followed by Carlton Fisk and Ken Williams. 1-0 Chicago on a Donnie Hill home run in the 4th inning. Almost duplicated by Trammell, except Calderon had other ideas and made a remarkable catch, scaling the left field wall. 1 ball, 1 strike, and the count goes to 2-1. Hairston has been around a long time in this league. Outstanding pinch hitter for so many years. Fouls this one back, and the count goes to 2-2. 35 years of age. In 1985, he was named the American League's best pinch hitter in a poll that was conducted by the managers.
Well, being a switch hitter, he can do so many things for you. Of course, the guy he's replacing, Greg Walker, with 19 home runs, is sorely missed.
Yes, he is. And there's a called 3rd strike.
Well, Jerry can't believe it. We talked about Tanana's control. Look at Noak's glove. Look where the ball goes. Maybe it was off the corner a little bit, but when you almost hit the glove, you're just going to get the umpire give you the pitch more times than not. And Davey Phillips stayed right with it. Ball may have caught the corner, but he thought so.
That's the 5th strikeout for Tanana. You know, the remarkable thing about Tanana, he led the American League in strikeouts back in 1975 with 269. He was with the Angels that time, but he was throwing the heat at that time.
Well, you had Ryan from the right side, and you had Tanana from the left side.
That wasn't too bad, was it?
You hoped you didn't pitch on those nights, because you better be able to win 2-1.
What was that? Spawn insane and pray for rain? Was that the same thing with Ryan and Tanana?
A little bit better offense in Milwaukee.
1 ball now on Fisk. Carlton fouls it behind the plate. Noakes coming over, and he can't get there. He had room, but just couldn't make it there. Hustling over also was Darrell Evans. We mentioned Carlton Fisk and what durability he has had. Al Lopez, the all-time leader in games caught. Bob Boone right behind him. Jim Sundberg, now playing with the Chicago Cubs. And then as you bring the next page up, you're going to see the name of Fisk. Tonight, he moved in 9th all-time, tying another great catcher for the Yankees in Bill Dickey. You know, the interesting thing about Fisk, he's got 117 stolen bases. There's not very many catchers.
He's the only catcher ever to have over 100 stolen bases. I mean, even the year he hit 37 2 years ago, back in 1985, he had 17 stolen bases that year. He will occasionally bunt. Brings the infield in, and it makes it easier to hit the ball by somebody.
Oh, was that a tantalizing breaking ball? And the count goes to 1-2. Chewing that gum pretty hard.
One thing about, excuse me, Gary, the one thing about Tanana is that with the arm injury, and it was a tricep injury, which is really right above the elbow, is he never changed his motion. Well, what you see is exactly the same motion. Easy. I would describe him as stylish. Always follows through. Ready to field his position. Not a great fielder, but does an adequate job.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Fisk. Usually when you change from a flamethrower to a finesse pitcher, you got to change your mechanics. He has not, as you mentioned. This one popped up behind the plate. Brookins is coming over along with Noakes, and it's going to go into the stands.
And by throwing across his body, what he does is throw right out of his uniform. A couple of years ago, Jim Cott was talking about what makes a pitcher successful. He said you got to have great location. Tanana has that. You have to have great movement. Tanana really does not have that anymore. You have to have great stuff. Tanana does not have that after he hurt his arm. Or you have to be very deceptive. So Tanana has the great location as far as where he's able to throw the ball on the plate and then throws right out of his uniform.
Well, his elbow problems began in '79. He had to start making those adjustments, and wisely has done so. 2-2 pitch to Fisk, grounded third base side. Brookins backs up. He'll go across to Evans, and there's 2 away. Let's go back and watch Tanana, breaking down a little bit as you were mentioning the style that he has.
So he's starting from the left side of the pitching rubber. So what he does, it's really tough to see from this angle, but very rhythmic. And that right leg is way outside of the pitching rubber, so he is throwing back across to a right-hander. Makes him able to get the ball in and bring it back over the corner of the plate. We don't have to isolate him from here, but just watch him from the center field camera. You'll get a picture. When he winds up, he steps really to the left and then throws back.
This pitch misses, and the count goes to 2 balls, no strikes on Ken Williams. Williams grounded out the first time.
Kenny Holtzman, Scotty McGregor, people like that, it just makes them much more deceptive.
2-0 pitch to Williams, and he's way out ahead of that one, and the count goes to 2-1.
Any pitch, any time. 2-0, you're Kenny Williams, you're looking fastball, and what does he do? He pulls the string, throws him a changeup, he's way out in front. Right field camera.
2-1. He had a notion held up, but it's 3-1. 2 down, and Ken Williams up 1-0. The White Sox. The difference: a home run by Donnie Hill in the 4th inning. 3-1 pitch. Foul behind first base. Hustling over is Evans, and he'll make the catch. And so Tanana shuts them down in order. 1, 2, 3. We go now to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's still 1-0 Chicago. For the Detroit Tigers. Tigers trailing 1-0 against Scott Nielsen. First time up, Chet Lemon hit into the double play. Back in the 2nd inning. Nielsen's pitch misses. Scott Nielsen, last second replacement, Jose De Leon, has acquitted himself very well. He's had a great catch by Calderona left, and other than that, he's been pretty much in command as Lemon fouls this one straight back. Count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chet Lemon started out miserably this year. May 5th, he was hitting 183. And look at what he's done in the month of July.
Well, coming off last year, a disappointing year at 251 with 12 home runs, already has hit more home runs. Had a hamstring pull that bothered him most of last year. I think that's one of the reasons Sparky was so pessimistic about their offensive chances. Yet he's moved off the plate, he's made some adjustments, and he's been around a long time, and you need to do that. Way off the plate, used to stand right on top of it. He's having a good year. As you said, their hottest hitter in July.
2 balls, 2 strikes on the 32-year-old right-handed hitter. 1-0 Chicago. First of a 3-game series between these two, and there's a call strike, and Scott Nielsen has to be a very pleasant surprise for Jim Fregosi. That's the 2nd strikeout of the ball game for Scott.
Well, when Lemon moved off the plate, I said, "You feel comfortable about the inside strike zone?" He said, "Yes." Apparently, he doesn't feel too comfortable about the outside one. Good pitch by Nielsen. about the outside third, right at the knees. And that's where he has to be successful. And he has been there. Only a couple of mistakes. Trammelled ball, and Calderon bailed him out with a great catch.
Pat Sheridan up. He struck out back in the third inning. See his numbers for the year, 281. He started out so well. By mid-May, he was hitting 331. That one's going to drop in the left field for a base hit. Sheridan makes the big turn and holds up. So that is only the second hit of the ball game. The other one coming by Matt Noakes back in the second inning, and he was after that cut down on the double play, and that'll bring up Brookins batting to the number 9 spot.
2 hits, 2 line drives to left field, both on pitches about thigh high away. Calderon shifted way down the line, expecting Sheridan to hit the ball to left field, but not to left center, so the ball drops in.
So 1 on and 1 down. The tying run at first base, and Brookins looks at a called strike. Tom Brookins, 33 years old, hit 270 last year for this club. He's a battler. He's tough. Makes the very most of his talent, and right now is the regular third baseman. Darnell Cole started the year there and had some defensive problems. Throw to first. Coles last year had a very good job, very good year offensively for the Tigers. Then he started having problems making the throw from third to first, and his offense started to fail him, and he's played some outfield recently for this Tiger team, but has not returned to third base.
Sheridan's stolen 11 bases. This is a situation, if the count gets 2-1, where Sparky likes to hit and run. Brookins can handle the bat, hit the ball the other way, you open up some holes. Been caught stealing 13 times.
He's going, swung on, grounded to short. Guillen has to go to first, no play at second, and he got him there. Ball was not hit sharply enough, and Guillen made the right decision. He gets Brookins for the second out, but advancing to second base is Sheridan.
Well, that's what the hit and run or the run and hit will do for you. You know Brookins can make contact. A sinker baller, even though you get the grounder, you stay out of the double play. Guillen knows he's running, makes the easy out at first base. And what you do is you have a runner in scoring position, the tie run, with a pretty good hitter, Whitaker, up at the plate.
I would say a pretty good hitter. Whitaker is 0 for 1. He's walked and grounded out. And Lou has been the guy that's been hot. Did not play this year in the All-Star game because of some leg problems he had, even though he had the opportunity. There's a fly ball right field, hustling back over, and the catch is going to be made by Harold Baines, and they're out of the inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors. There was 1 runner left on the base path. We have played 5 at Tiger Stadium. The White Sox 1, the Tigers nothing. We'll return to ABC's Monday Night Baseball after this word from our local stations.
Corey McFerrin back in New York once again. Ivan Calderon, not the only defensive wizard tonight in the Giants-Dodgers game. This is Will Clark, the shot to center field. Here comes John Shelby, the diving, sliding grab. Meanwhile, Kevin Mitchell hustling back to first. Here's a throw. Double play. Los Angeles maintains a 3-2 lead in the 4th. Back to Gary and Jim.
Well, from Chavez Ravine, that 3-2 score. 1-0 here, the White Sox of the lead. Enrique is leading things off. He'll be followed by Ozzie Guillen, and then the top of the order, Gary Reedus. Donnie Hill's home run, the difference in this ball game. Frank Tanana pitching for the Tigers. Slow curve, and he caught the outside corner.
T-Bone Shelby with that highlight insert there with a great catch. 1 for 21, Gary. Shows that you don't take your offensive woes to the outfield.
Shelby, in the estimation of Lasorda, they don't know what they would have done without him in that outfield position since the trade with Baltimore. 1-2 pitch. Little blooper hit the center, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Ball was not hit hard at all, but it drops in for the hit from Enrique. Coming up Saturday, ABC Sports will start your day with high-speed action at the International Race of Champions. Then on ABC's Wide World of Sports, 5-time world champion Greg Louganis, and more at the U.S. Outdoor Diving Championships live, plus the U.S. Long Course Swimming Championships. Also, and mark this one down, Ali Sheba and bet twice in their first rematch since the Belmont. It's the Haskell Invitational, and that's live. As you know, Alashiba won the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, and bet twice the Belmont. There's a butt attempt down the third baseline foul. Ozzie Guillen trying to advance. The leadoff man who's on with a base hit, Manrique. So 3 hits in the ball game now for the White Sox. The big one, though, the home run by Donnie Hill. Bet twice. That was the horse that Pete Rose has a piece of. In fact, talked to him. We were there the week that Bet Twice won, and he sent Tony Perez into the clubhouse to find out who won the race. 1 strike now on Guillen, who lined out the last time to the shortstop. That's Manrique off first.
A couple of reasons why Jim Fregosi would be bunting. Number one, they don't score a lot of runs, as we said. Lowest batting average in the American League. Second in runs scored from the bottom.
Another bunt attempt, and this one is going to roll foul. So it's 2 strikes now on Ozzie Guillen.
Also, Guillen, 290, over 290. You saw the batting average, but he's not a pull hitter. It's a perfect situation where you have a left-handed hitter. You use that first base hole, but you don't want him hitting the ball that way because he's not as good a hitter. And the number 3 reason is you have Scott Nielsen pitching a whale of a game, so you want to add to that 1-run lead, try to get a runner in scoring position.
That was Doug Rader, the third base coach. Ed Brinkman down at first. Pitch, and he bunts with 2 strikes on him, and this one is going to roll foul, and he's going to be out of the ball game. So with 2 strikes on him, Guillen elects to try it again. Doesn't execute. They waited on this one. Good decision on the play.
That'll be recorded as a strikeout. The 5th for Frank Tanana. Again, a lot of confidence in his ability to get the ball down. Right there. Noakes, good play.
Noakes is only 23, but he plays like he's 10 years older. He has really shown some maturity, some savvy behind the plate. He and Mike Heath have given him outstanding catching in the absence of Lance Parrish. 1 down now. Manrique still at first, and a slow, tantalizing breaking pitch that misses for 1-0. There was a very good comment, I thought, about Lance Parrish leaving. A scribe said that when Lance Parrish left, they lost a $100 bill, but they found 2 $50 bills in Heath and Noakes. They have made people forget about Parrish. 1 ball, no strikes, and it's even now at 1-1.
And also, you have to give Sparky a lot of credit. He went out and got it. Heath, after he went to St. Louis and failed miserably, came over here and he was telling us the story. Look at Tanana's numbers.
By the way, those 6 strikeouts equal a high for the season for Frank. He's going to move to first, getting back in time, Manrique.
Going back to Mike Heath, that went over to St. Louis, wasn't able to hit. Traded over here last year, and can play a number of positions. Has been playing some right field. Good defensive catcher. He is defensively what Matt Noakes isn't. He can throw.
Gary Reedus grounds that one into left field for a base hit, and now with 1 down, runners at first and second. So Reedus with his first hit of the game after flying out and grounding out. 4th hit of the game, the 2nd of the inning. And Donnie Hill, the difference in this game will come up. Boy, that opportunity to not advance a runner on the bunt hurts the White Sox, so they might have had a run. Let's go back to Donnie Hill's 4th home run. And Jim, this is one of the fine defensive plays of the year. I'm sorry, this is the one that Hill hit out. That's right.
This is the one that did not stay in the park.
That's right. Gibson going back. He watched it. He knew and did not attempt to go any further with it, and Hill took it out. His 21st RBI of the year. And runners now first and second, 1 down, and Hill looks at that pitch, and it misses for ball 1. So Tanana in a jam. Reedus at first base. Manrique at second base. There they are. They're not holding him on at first base. Reedus, of course, an excellent base runner. Evans kind of bluffing like he might move behind him. Tanana checks at second. Grounded third base side. Nice play by Brookins. Touches for the 4th. Throw to first, and he got the double play. Nice play by Tom at third base. Gets him out of a real jam. No runs on 2 hits. No errors. There was a runner left on. Good defensive effort by the Tigers. Get Tanana out of a jam. Brookins alertly making the force at third, relating to Evans at first, and they take the White Sox out of the inning. Historic Tiger Stadium, where you usually see a lot of home runs hit in a high-scoring game. Right now, 1-0 in favor of the White Sox is Bill Madlock leading things off for the Tigers, to be followed by Gibson and then Trammell against Scott Nielsen, who's hung tough in there. Had a great defensive effort, bailing him out once, but other than that, he has been very masterful at times. The count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. The White Sox 1 run on 4 hits. The Tigers scoreless. Thus far, they have been able to get to this man for 3 hits. Madlock, line drive, left field, base hit. Going over to cut it off. Center fielder Williams, he'll bring it in, and Madlock with the hit, and the 4th hit of the game now for Detroit.
As you said, 4 times he won a batting championship, and he did it with his short stroke. Right there, high breaking ball, short strokes, hand separated. Blend of average and power. Came over here, hit very well, then went into a slump, hit 3 home runs in a ball game. And what he does, he sets the table for Kirk Gibson. Gibson has got himself out twice now, try to pull an outside pitch, and the last time with 2 men on, went for a ball that was about 6 inches off the ground. Let's see if he's a little more disciplined this time around.
Gibson up, 0 for 2. Reached once on the fielder's choice and able to steal second base. Madlock leads off, grounded to second. Enrique to Guillen to first. They got him, both of them, and Gibson really upsetted himself. So that erases that leadoff single in a hurry.
Well, that's what the sinker ball does. We saw it last Monday night with Tommy John. You say, I'm going to lay off it. I'm going to make him bring the ball up. And right now you see again, waiting for a good pitch. The ball runs down and away. He tries to pull it. And let's see, does Guillen get the base? Nope, but doesn't matter apparently.
That's one of those phantom plays, right?
Well, you know you have to hurry with Kirk Gibson. So if you do that, you're going to cheat. And since the play is so obviously going to be an out at second base, a lot of times you get the what they call the general area. I mean, just in the neighborhood.
There is Trammell up, and he looks at a call strike. Trammell 0 for 2, and of course he was robbed of a home run. Look at it again now. Let's watch Ozzie Guillen.
Well, real close, but
if he hit it, it was certainly a very subtle little tap down there at second. Trammell
like
fouls
that
it back.
Tag on a stolen base. A lot of times, I know Mark Belanger, who played for years at Baltimore with me, would just drop the tag. A lot of times you don't even tag the runner, but that quick tag makes the umpire think that you did tag him. Right,
you know who was best at that was Julian Javier when he played with the Cardinals. They called him the Phantom because many times I don't think he was even close to the bag, but he pulled it off.
Well, imperative for infielders, quick feet and quick hands.
They were holding up the play a little while. They had a banner that was put up out of left center field, and he wanted to be sure the background was all right for Trammell. Ready to go now. 2 strikes on Trammell, 2 down. And it's now 1 ball, 2 strikes. You look at Trammell, Jim, and he is not the prototype or the man that you would expect at bat cleanup. He's only 175 pounds, but he can drive the ball and has really done the job for him there.
Well, I said, is there any difference? Here's a guy that, taking a look at Jim Fregosi, manager of the White Sox, and Allen said, all you have to do is you got to concentrate more. You're going to have more situations where you're in RBI situations. He was always a good hitter, but he was a passive hitter. Hit the ball the other way. Now he'll look for pitches to jerk. He's been around a lot. He said 10 years.
Hit sharply. Manrique comes up throwing, and they get out of it. The double play gets them out of some difficulty. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. As we now have played 6 innings, it's still the White Sox by 1. Gary Bender with Jim Palmer. Tiger Stadium, where they've been playing baseball since 1900, as Harold Baines will lead things off. We told you that he's the all-time leading home run hitter for the White Sox. Number 155 occurred Wednesday. He moved ahead of Bill Melton, and this is it. His 16th home run of the year. That wasn't a cheap one either.
Oh, he could have hit him a long way. Again, somewhat neutralized by left-handed pitching. Of the 21 he hit last year, 18 off right-handers, only 3 off left-handers. And Tanana, great job tonight so far. 2 strikeouts on breaking balls. He's established that pitch the first time with a strikeout, and then Harold took one right down the middle.
You can see how frustrated he is. He was out on his front foot that particular time, grounding out. And as you can see,
It really
he's already
reminds
struck
me
out
of
twice.
he has a way, Gary, of getting back and lifting that front foot, his right foot, like Sadaharu, and what it does, it makes him wait on the breaking ball. See it? He lifts it up, but he still
lift it a
can't
little
wait.
further. Yeah, right. He's not lifting it far enough, and he is really upset. Here he is returning to the outfield for the first time since opening day.
Well, that's where he'd like to be right now, out in right field. But again, you have to give Tanana a lot of credit.
And a swinging foul tip, he hung on, and the strikeout on Baines. That's the 7th strikeout of the ball game.
But you don't put the numbers that Harold Baines puts on the board every year and be that type of hitter against lefties all the time. If Tanana is around the next time and Baines comes up and he gets one breaking ball belt high on the inside part of the plate, that's the type of pitch that Baines looking so bad will be able to hit.
Calderon up 0 for 2. High fly ball center field. Going back is Chet Lemon. He's got this one gauged all the way. And there's 2 down. If you're going to hit him here, hit him to center field if you're a pitcher, right? You've got some room out there, but you start getting a little nervous when they get him left or right of there. 440 to straightaway center.
And some nights, as you know, you have no control over what direction they're hitting them.
I'm surprised to hear you say that. I thought you were in complete command at all times.
Oh, yes. We come in here, and they lead off with, let's see, who's the second baseman? Dick McAuliffe, 20 home runs. Then you get Kaline and Horton and Cash and Freehand, Gates Brown, Mickey Stanley. He was the out man. He used to win gold gloves in center field. Tough lineup. They've always had a great offensive ball club here.
They're talking about the 68 team and the 84 team, and now they're starting to talk about the 87 team. And the
well, they're comparing them. They're comparing this team more to the 68 team than the 84 team. The 84 team won 35 out of their first 40 games and then played about 8 to 10 games over 500 the rest of the year. Of course, they did win the American League Championship Series against Kansas City and then beat San Diego in the World Series. Great start, and the 68 team played very well together. They have a lot of guys who can do a lot of different things on this Tiger team. Tonight, of course, they've been baffled.
Gary Hairston baffled by that one, and the count goes to 1-1. That 68 team, Kaline was talking the other day. He thinks this very similar, and he should know. He was around. Boy, there's been some outstanding hitters. You think of the Greenbergs, the people that pounded pitching for so many years. The count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. We're in the top half of the 7th inning with the White Sox leading it 1-0. Tanana pitches, and it's grounded foul. Third base side. Rooster Rader down there making that outstanding defensive stop.
And speaking of outstanding defensive plays, I mean, this game is rapidly speeding along, and if you're ever going to be a defensive player and you want to play behind a pitcher, it's somebody that works fast. Doug Rader, Gold Glover from the National League, known more for his glove than his managerial.
Well, he has the longest tenure of anybody, though, with Texas. That's got some credibility, right?
I guess.
1-2, slow curve. He didn't get it there, and it's 2-2. Tanana thought he had him. He was staring down to Dave Phillips, the home plate umpire.
But you want the pitchers to work fast. Tanana gets the ball. He knows what he wants to do, and Scott Nielsen's pitched exactly the same way.
2-2 pitch. Line left field, and that's a fair ball. Headed into the corner. Hairston makes a turn. Gibson comes up throwing, and going in sliding head first with a double is Hairston. Boy, I tell you, that guy can still run pretty well. You don't expect it from Hairston. 35 years of age, but he got down there in a hurry.
And so did Kirk Gibson in left field corner. He makes this play close. This is what happens when Tanana gets the ball up. Right in his eyes. He's been keeping it down. Now, that's a sure double. But Gibson, as you said, plays left field, a new position. Throw is on one hop, on the money. Makes it close. But Hairston in second with 2 outs in scoring position.
You know, if he hadn't gotten in head first, they might have gotten him on that play. Excellent play by Gibson. There again shows the advantage of being left-handed. The way he went to the foul line, able to come up, spin, and throw.
Otherwise, you backhand the ball, you have to take a couple extra steps.
And so that'll bring up Carlton Fisk, who struck out and grounded out. And going to put him on. Intentionally walk Fisk. That'll bring up Ken Williams, who's 0 for 2.
Well, percentage baseball, only in the sense that Williams is hitting higher, but they have more respect for Fisk.
Well, he's leading the American League in game-winning RBIs, so you don't forget a statistic like that.
And you figure the third time around, Fisk is going to make some adjustments. Maybe Kenny Williams, first year in the major leagues, won't be able to do that.
Understand the Blue Jays that jumped out on top of the Boston Red Sox. There it is, 6-5. Barfield has a home run in that ball game. Burks, Greenwell also able to hit home runs early in the game. And that'll bring up now Williams, 0 for 2. Runners at first and second, 2 down. Tanana, that was his first walk of the game, and of course an intentional walk. Grounded foul, and the count goes to 1 strike on Williams.
Gary, at this point in the game, you are in a situation, sure it's a gamble to walk Fisk, and you're playing the percentages, and if he hits a home run, it makes it 4-0 and somewhat puts you out of the game. But Tanana, I believe, realizes he cannot give up another run. He knows what kind of game Scott Nielsen's pitching. He is going to try to make the perfect pitch, as he's done all night, to try to stay on the edges of the plate.
Well, he'd like to keep him close because the Tigers are winning those one-run games this year. There's a pitch inside, and the count goes to 1-1. The last 16 one-run games, the Tigers have won 13 of them.
We're almost at a point in this ball game where he will either make the pitch he wants to Williams or pitch to Manrique, who's on deck.
1-1 pitch to Williams. Swing and a miss. 1-2, and again he took something off of it.
And again, that inexperience, Williams swinging at an obvious ball.
Shows you how effective both these pitchers have been. Thus far, the difference, the Donnie Hill home run, but now the White Sox trying to build that lead. He had a notion, a little low, and the count's 2-2, and Tanana came off the front of the mound again, expecting to get that called third strike.
The ball a little bit low, but exactly the same swing that he swung at the pitch before. I hope you'll entice him to do it. The half swing, no strike.
Hairston leads off a second. Fisk off the first. Pitch to Williams. He's striking out, and he's out of the inning. That's the 8th strikeout of the ball game for the veteran left-hander. And so he keeps the Tigers close. He keeps them within 1 run with this strikeout of Ken Williams. Leave 2 runners on. 1-0 Chicago.
Want to show you how the Jays took that lead over Boston. 3 runs in the 6th. Here is the go-ahead score. George Bell, a man on third, lost the fly ball to right field. Mike Greenwell camps under it. He would make the catch. Lloyd Mosby tags, play at the plate, but he's safe by a mile. Toronto 6-5. Top of the 7th for Bell, his 81st RBI. American League's co-leader with Mark McGwire.
Yesterday, the Tigers got a real scare. Their rookie catcher, Matt Noakes, was hit in the knee on a pitch ball. He reacted this way to the play.
The ball was kind of going behind me. I heard that if I wouldn't have moved, it wouldn't have hit me. It just kind of hit me in the hinge there. And there's some swelling, and it hurts. It's bruised and numbness down my shin, but I'm okay.
I guess he's okay. He's continued on here tonight. Some concern about him earlier. He is 1 for 2, singled, eventually racing a double play and then grounded out back in the 4th inning. 1-0. The last shutout that this guy Scott Nielsen posted was July 5th. That was at Cleveland. We mentioned his 7 victories thus far. 3 have been shutouts.
But we're also talking about a pitcher that no doubt paid attention yesterday. Saw one of his fellow pitchers, talking about Rich Dotson, go into the 8th inning with a perfect game and end up losing the game. Not only losing the perfect game, the no-hitter, but the ball game. So he knows how perilous a 1-0 lead, not to mention a 2-0 lead as it was yesterday, can be.
It's 1-0 here in favor of the White Sox. 1-2 the count now on Noakes outside, and it's 2-2. Noakes will be followed by Darrell Evans and Chet Lemon. Bottom of the 7th inning. 1-0. Donnie Hill's home run in the 4th. Look at this. Scott Bankhead threw the shutout at them back in 1986. And that was right here at Tiger Stadium. You don't throw a lot of shutouts in Tiger Stadium. Full count now to Matt Noakes. Boy, what a boost this could be to Jim Fregosi if Nielsen pitches well here. Dotson to a tough luck loss yesterday, or shouldn't say tough luck, but difficult loss. 7 1/3 perfect innings before he finally lost to the Yankees.
Well, as we said, the White Sox do not score a lot of runs. They haven't done it tonight. They didn't do it yesterday. To win yesterday, he had to win 2-1.
3-2 pitch. Fly ball, left center field. That ball is hit deep, and it is out of here. A home run. Matt Noakes has tied it up. First home run, 56 RBIs, and it's 1-1. That ball was hit quite a ways. That was hit in the power alley between the 400 and 365 foot mark.
Well, he singled that way the first time. Then the shortstop, and then right over the shortstop's head into the stands.
I don't think that knee's bothering him, do you?
Not running around the bases.
So home runs by Hill and now Noakes, and we're even at 1 as that brings up Darrell Evans, who's 0 for 2. He pops it up, first base side. Hairston hustling over. He's got room, and he's going to put it away. Let's go back to this home run by Noakes. Both Calderon and left and Williams in center had no chance to get to it.
On a 3-2 pitch, you want to throw a strike leading off the inning, and you hope that he keeps it in the ballpark. As we said, a good hitter's ballpark. 365 to the left, 400 to the right. Right in between. Only a couple of rows, but it counts. Wind blowing out a little bit to left field.
Boy, you wonder what kind of a player this guy's going to be before it's all over. Again, he would right now be the runner-up, I imagine, for Rookie of the Year behind Mark McGwire. In a lot of years, he'd be leading easily. There's Chet Lemon, line shot foul. Third base side. I mean, Noakes having a year that easily could win Rookie of the Year honors on most occasions.
Well, and also, I mean, they knew when they got Matt Noakes that he could hit, but they weren't really sure whether he could catch, and he has had his problems. We talked about the slow release, but catching versus playing first base, and not to take anything away from Mark McGwire with 36 home runs, you're a full-time player if you're a catcher. You have to be attentive, you have to concentrate, and your job is to get the most out of your pitching staff. And Nielsen is definitely getting the ball up this inning. He got it up the Noakes, he homered, he got a hanging slider to Lemon, he just missed the double down left field line. I'm sure Jim Fregosi has his eye on him.
Chet Lemon, count 1-1, fouls it back, and the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Last year, the Tigers led the American League in home runs. This year, they continue to hit the long ball. And Noakes has tied it up with a shot over the left center field wall. Well, you come here in Tiger Stadium and you just keep it close because you know you can erupt. You can really cause some problems in a hurry. 1-2 now to Chet Lemon. We're all even. Bottom of the 7th inning. Call strike 3. I don't think Lemon liked that, and Dave Phillips didn't like the way he got rid of his bat either.
Well, it's an obvious strike. Again, this is the second time, and I talked to Chet before the game, and he's moved off the plate. Look at that pitch. Good pitch right on the corner. Chet strides in, thinks it's a ball. You got to be kidding me.
Dropped the bat, and
yeah, and the next time the plate will get even a little bit wider. It's 17 inches already.
I understand.
So Chet thinks it's about 22.
Sheridan up, line to center field, and for a moment, Williams looked like he had some trouble with it, but he gets there, and he puts it away. But the Tigers tie it up on the home run by Matt Noakes. 1 run on 1 hit, nobody left on. We go now to the top of the 8th inning. We're all even at 1. 5 hits are also even. And both teams have scored on home runs. Donnie Hill with a home run in the 4th inning. And then Matt Noakes in the bottom of the 7th crashed his home run to tie it up. And that's where we are as Fred Manrique coming up to lead things off. Guillen to follow and Gary Reedus. Manrique, by the way, has 9 assists in this game already, Jim. And I understand the record is 12. So the way this game is going and the ground balls that Nielsen's been able to produce, he might get it before it's over. As we go to the top of the 8th inning. Tanana pitches, and it's line foul down the first base side, and the count goes to 0-2. So he has 6 more outs left. If my math has not failed me, he's 3 short.
Very good, Gary. And Frank Tanana, as I said, into the 7th inning 17 out of 20 times. Now it's 18 out of 21, and that's something you want if you're a Sparky Anderson. Quality innings from a quality pitcher, and we've seen that tonight. 1 mistake, and that was a changeup up in the strike zone to Donnie Hill, and it was hit into the left field seats.
That one's low, and the count goes to 1-2. And Dave Phillips wanted to look at the ball. The bottom of the order now in the top of the 8th. Enrique, Guillen, and the top of the order then Reedus.
Enrique, a good high ball hitter. He got a high curve ball and just kind of punched it into center the last time.
Misses, and it's even now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He singled back in the 6th inning. Struck out in the 3rd. Came in here hitting .219. Oh, he had a no-shoot around, and he is a strikeout victim, number 9 for Tanana. Boy, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? You can use it with a flamethrower or just out-finesse people, and that's what Tanana's doing tonight.
Way out in front, and you know what? It's a good curveball. Is a curveball you don't pick up the spin, and it's so obvious from watching Fred swing at that pitch that he did not think it was a curveball until it was too late.
Don't forget, Sports Night, Al Troutwig, one of the big events. It's going to be the announcement of the '88 Olympic hockey team. Do you suppose, do you hope, could happen like 1980 when they won the gold medal? The captain of that team, Michael Ruzioni, will be on with Al as they announce who's going to be in Calgary, and we'll be covering all that in February here on ABC. 1 ball, no strikes on Guillen with 1 down. Foul back. Tell you, Jim, that ball gets back here in a hurry. You ready for those?
Nope.
Guillen already is lined out once, as you can see, also struck out. We're right on top of home plate. I don't know of a better vantage point in baseball. Grounded, shortstop. Backhand by Trammell. Long throw. Got him. That was not an easy play. That was a long throw, and Guillen can motor, and he still got him.
But again, Trammell, as you said, 10 years in the league. He knows he has to hurry, plants himself. Always has had a strong, accurate arm. Hurt his elbow and then his shoulder a couple of years ago. But no problem. You can sit over in the first base dugout here and watch Alan Trammell's throw. Not only a strong, straight throw does he make, but it's almost belt high every time. And then, as you said, a cleanup hitter with over 20 home runs can do so many things for you.
It's quite a combination, and the guy weighs 175 pounds. Reedus is up with 2 down. He's singled and flied out and grounded out. 1 for 3. Our score in the top of the 8th inning, and he had a notion that's there for a called strike, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, the way Tanana's pitching, he could be the next Tommy John. He could be 44 years old still pitching in this league.
Well, the 2 things that he doesn't do that Tommy John does, number 1, he doesn't scuff the ball and cheat.
You said that.
I know that. All
right, I'm a friend of Tommy, so
am I. I just have so much respect for him.
Grounded to second. Whoa, off the glove of Whitaker, and it'll go into center field. Reedus makes the turn. They got to watch him, the way he can run.
Well, you saw Trammell pointing at somebody better get to second base. As we said, Reedus with tremendous speed, 31 stolen bases. If he wasn't hitting as low as he is, which is in the 2 teens, he'd have about 50 stolen bases. This is where you can help yourself. Tanana doesn't come up with it.
They got to score that a base hit.
Ooh.
You don't agree with that?
No,
I was a little skeptical too, but it is a base hit.
Well, we are in Detroit. And that is a Tiger, Lou Whitaker. That's a play that he normally makes.
Well, you know, he booted one on Saturday. It was almost the GOAT in the game, then came back with 2 out in the 10th to beat California with a home run. Whitaker does not commit a lot of errors. If you look back at him historically.
Not with those scoring decisions.
But he's committed only 11 errors each of the last 2 years.
Oh, he's an excellent fielder. Slow grass here, gets to a lot of balls. I think that if you ask him, should that have been an error? I'm sure he's happy he didn't get it. Don't get me wrong.
Anyway, it goes as the 6th hit of the game for the White Sox.
He's had some back problems, a little bit of a rib pull, so did not play yesterday.
Donnie Hill, who's had the home run in this game, he's 1 for 3 at the plate and a move to first instead. Aretas, we told you, is second in the American League in stolen bases with 31. Caught stealing only 5 times.
And this is one of the reasons they gave up Joe Cowley,
who's out of baseball right now. They sent him home. He's had such control problems with the Phillies.
I hope he recovers. Very much like Steve Blast. He had no hitter last year, of course. Talking about Joe Cowley. Steve Blast, great 71 World Series, and then just lost his ability to throw strikes. So let's hope that Joe can go home, rest, and get his act together.
There's a call strike. 1 strike on Hill. Hill looks down the third base line to Rader. Well, the thing about Cowley is that they've decided rather than put any more pressure on him, just go home, not come back the rest of this year and try to get it together next year for Philadelphia. Aretas, good lead off the first. Throw over there. 1 strike, 2 out.
The one thing, Tanana knows how many stolen bases Aretas has, and Aretas just coming into the league, may not have ever seen Tanana. Good running situation. Wouldn't mind to have Donnie Hill leading off the next inning if you do not be successful. Tanana with not a great move, slow delivery. So if you run, what Aretas is trying to do is run on his delivery. If he doesn't come to first, he takes enough time to get rid of the ball that he is going to probably be successful. As we said, Noakes doesn't throw well. Perfect situation. Just don't want to get picked off.
1 strike to count on Hill. 2 down. He'll go to first again. Our score if you've just joined us. We're the top half of the 8th inning. 2 down. The White Sox with the go-ahead run represented by number 21, Gary Aretas. That's Evans holding him on. Donnie Hill at the plate. He's hit the home run to score the only run for the White Sox. Big week for Tiger fans. This series, the Yankee series, a 4-game series this weekend. 20 of the 23 games after the All-Star break played right here in Tiger Stadium. Detroit would like to move ahead at that time. There's a fly ball right field and hit right at the right fielder Sheridan, and that retires the side. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We'll return to ABC's Monday Night Baseball after this message and news headlines from our local stations. Well, Jim Fragosi's gotten back-to-back outstanding pitching performances. Yesterday, Dotson. Tonight, it's Scott Nielsen. 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th, and Sparky Anderson, who said he'd like to be at least within 5 games by the 1st of September. And right now, he's better than that. There's a little blooper hit to right field. That's in for a base hit. Tom Brookins leads off here in the bottom of the 8th. So the hits now even at 6. The runs are even, and that's going to bring up the top of the order in Lou Whitaker. Only 1 sacrifice bunt in their last 19 games. Well, they're a team that scores a lot of runs and in bunches, and Fragosi now is going to make the walk to the mound.
Oh, also, Gary, they have guys that can handle the bat, so you don't have to bunt. You can move a runner along with a hit and run. Hitting behind them right here, you can sacrifice them with Whitaker, but you also have a pull hitter that can use that first base hole, so you have a lot of options.
They've started some activity now in that right field bullpen for Chicago. Nobody was up throwing prior to this. Ray Searage is the left-hander, the former Milwaukee Brewer out there. So Fergosi, who had nobody up and ready to go, just with a visit out to Nielsen. Bobby Thigpen, who has had some very good moments. Former Mississippi State standout as a right-hander up now. So Searage and Thigpen heating up as Nielsen now with the leadoff man on with a base hit. Whitaker thus far has walked once, flied out, and grounded out. Throw to first. So Tom Brookins with his first hit of the game. Had a fine defensive play earlier on a force at third and a throw across the diamond to first. Good lead at first. He's going. The pitch swung on, line to right field. It's going to get in for a base hit. Brookins is on his way to third. Whitaker holds on at first with a base hit.
Well, that's what I was talking about. You have so many options when you have a guy that can handle the bat. You have a running situation. You can see Brookins. Is he going to go? Yes, he is. Fastball in the middle of the plate. As I said, Whitaker can pull the ball, and he does. He just hits the ball trying to use that first base hole and loops it into right field. Situation, a lot of times, Gary, when you don't know whether they're bunting, you'll start the hitter off with a breaking ball. Of course, with that jump, Brookins most likely would have stolen second base.
So two men are on, and there's nobody out. At third is Brookins. At first base, Whitaker. Back-to-back singles. And Bill Madlock is up. He is singled and walked. Reached on a fielder's choice. Line shot left field, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Brookins will score easily. Here's a play at third. Going there late was Whitaker. Throw to second. Madlock is in safely. Boy, Whitaker took a long time deciding to go to third, didn't he?
Well, he shouldn't have been able to. 3 for 3 for Madlock. Right here, Calderon just holds the ball. Whitaker says, well, now I'm going to stay at second. And then all of a sudden he sees him hold the ball. Throw is offline, almost gets hit right in the right side of the head.
Now we're going to have a pinch runner, Bill Madlock, coming out of the ball game. So Madlock with the RBI single will sit down. His 22nd RBI of the year, and it's a 2-1 game, and runners at second and third.
An awful defense. It keeps you out of the double play. One pitch could have put you in a situation where you're going to have 2 outs and have a chance to get the third out and still be in the ball game.
They're going to intentionally walk Gibson. They'll load him up, and that will bring up Alan Trammell.
So you can see how that doesn't go down as an error by Calderon, but what it does is make you walk the bases loaded.
Again, Calderon's been playing right field. He's in left field. You never know how that affects somebody. But he did hold the ball, and Whitaker alertly took the additional base on him, and Gibson's on. Jim Whalewander is down at second base. He's the rookie sensation. It's a 2-run homer yesterday. He's come in to pinch run for Madlock, and Fergosi's coming out again. And so Scott Nielsen, who's been so effective in this ball game, has run into a jam. They're going to make a change. They're going to go to the right-hander, Thigpen. Well, we have a pitching change with the Tigers leading it. 2-1. We'll return to ABC's Monday Night Baseball after this word from our local stations. Alan Trammell has the chance now to really open this game wide up. The bases loaded as he'll come up. You know, it's interesting. Very, very few shortstops ever bat in the cleanup position. 83 games by shortstop in the 4th position, and all of them by Alan Trammell. So that means the only guy playing that spot in the cleanup spot. And it has been an outstanding adjustment that Sparky Anderson made this year. When Lance Parrish left, they inserted him into the cleanup spot. There was some skepticism, but he's really done the job. 2-1 in favor now of the Tigers, and they have a chance to really add to that advantage. Nobody out. The bases are full. Thigpen. And first ball hitting Trammell. Drives in Whitaker. Also coming in to score is a pinch runner, Wellwander.
Well, fastball pitcher to fastball hitter, nobody playing there. He talked about his concentration. He got a good pitch to hit it hard for his first hit tonight. Plates 2 runs.
So Bobby Thigpen, 1 pitch, 2 RBIs, base hit for Trammell. And that's going to bring up Noakes, who hit the home run back in the 7th inning. 4-1, the Tigers. They've erupted after trailing most of this ball game, and a pitch inside. They trailed 1-0 after 4 and didn't even up until the 7th inning. And now, thus far, erupting here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Thigpen, a former Mississippi State standout. He was a teammate of Rafael Palmeiro's with the Cubs. Also Will Clark of the Giants. He steps off. Driving Gibson back into second base. Trammell down at first. 2 runners still on. Trammell getting 2 of them home. Swing and a miss, and Noakes is trying to add 3 more.
Here's your home run swing. A little bit out of the strike zone. But that wasn't a left field swing. That was a right field swing. The 1-0 swing where you look for the fastball, you get it, and you have a good, healthy cut.
Trying to get out to Trumbull Avenue, which is over the right field roof. Coming into this year, 21 have cleared that right field roof, believe it or not. Pitch inside. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. Thus far in this inning, 3 runs on 4 hits. Still 2 men on.
Kind of surprising with the Searage, the left-hander down there with Noakes. You know you most likely won't pinch hit for him. Darrell Evans on deck. Might pinch hit for him that you don't make a pitching change. Especially when Noakes hitting as well as he is.
He had a notion it was there anyway, and the count goes to 2-2. Thigpen was an outfielder for Mississippi State as well as a pitcher. He was sent down to the minors. They were going to make a starter out of him, but I think they've resolved the fact that they will be in a relief role.
Well, he does not have that many pitches. A little bit of a slider, not much of a changeup, and his best pitch is his fastball. So when he's tough, he has a good one.
2-2, foul back, and the count stays at 2-2. Gibson down at second, Trammell down at first. It all began on a base hit by Brookins. Whitaker followed with a single. Matlock with an RBI single. Then they intentionally walked Kirk Gibson. A base hit, 2 RBI single for Trammell. And that's where we are right now. Still nobody out. Bottom half of the 8th. The Tigers erupting. Noakes backs out of there. Two pitch. He struck him out. Big strikeout for Thigpen, the first out of the inning.
Take another look. Rings right under it. Like a breaking ball that just stayed up. You wait for it to break if you're the hitter, and it doesn't. Not in a real good location, but swung right under it.
Evans 0 for 3 comes up. Still 2 runners on, now with 1 down. Thigpen, 6'3", 195-pounder. He's 24 years old. Last year he was 2-0 with 7 saves coming up at the tail end of the year for the White Sox. One time retired 21 batters in a row. So he's had some good moments. They think he has a chance to be a very special pitcher. And there's a call strike on the outside corner.
You can see almost everything is 1 speed, and A lot of times, if you're a starter, you have to, as we've seen Frank Tanana all night, you have to have that change up, that curveball, a little bit different change of speed. So you have the fastball and the slider. Now, when he's overpowering, he's effective. But when he doesn't have the good fastball, and it looks like he has a pretty good fastball tonight, he gets in trouble.
Gibson dancing around at second, trying to distract him. And the pitch goes outside for 1-1. Say, as big as Gibson is back there, you can't help but notice him the way he's bouncing around. There he is. Ian kind of sliding behind him. He is shifted over for the right-handed hitter, should say left-handed hitter, Darrell Evans. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out. The runner's going, swung on and foul. Both Gibson and Trammell were moving on the pitch, and the count goes to 1-2.
Well, again, the 1-1 count. Sparky knowing Evans has a pretty good eye. You also have 2 guys in Gibson and Trammell that can steal bases. Trammell hasn't stolen that many this year. He's had a quadricep pull.
Well, Fisk hangs the sign out for Thigpen. 1-2 pitch. And he has just struck out second consecutive man. Noakes goes down. Evans goes down swinging. 2 down, and that brings up Ted Lemon. Pretty impressive couple of guys that he's wasted there. Punched out. Fisk goes out to talk to him. Looking ahead now to the 9th, it'll be Baines, Calderon, and Hairston for the White Sox, who find themselves trailing now by a 4-1 count. I tell you what, it's not too bad having a guy like Fisk behind the plate. We're in a jam, steady, able to settle you down. He's been in these spots a few times.
And what also he is so invaluable is that he knows the hitters. He knows what their strengths and their weaknesses. Of course, you can't always get a young pitcher like Thigpen to do what you want him to do.
Chet Lemon up. Pitch misses. He struck out twice. Twice called out on strikes and hit into a double play. So Lemon has had a long night thus far. He'd like to do something about that, I'm sure. 4-1. 9 hits for the Tigers. Strike called. Well, you said all night long he's staying back from the plate, and they're just pitching him outside, aren't they?
Well, but they're able to do that, and I'm sure that Chet's saying right now, he said, I'm not really sure where that strike zone is out there, but you can also understand where he wants the ball. He wants the ball from the middle in, or at least from about 2/3 in, and if you get the ball away, and Thigpen's been able to do it, Nielsen's been able to do it, he's just taking those pitches. He thinks they're balls.
Stepping off the rubber is Thigpen. He drives Gibson back into second.
The reason he moved off, Gary, is that they used to just pitch him in, and then you get a little bit older, you're not as quick. You have to make some adjustments. They haven't worked tonight, but over the course of the season they have.
Got that one up high, and the count goes to 2-1. So Thigpen trying to stop it here in relief of Scott Nielsen. Nielsen had pitched so effectively, and then he got into the 8th inning, and bang, bang, bang. 4 hits, 3 runs. This guy's come on to strike out the first too many space. Lemon, high fly ball, left field, hooking, and it's going to go foul, and back into the stands. Got way out ahead on that one. So it's 2-2 now on Lemon. Thigpen, 4th round draft pick of the White Sox. This is his 2nd year in the big leagues. He'd like to strike out the side. 2-2 on Chet Lemon. Here it comes. And now it's full, and everybody's going to be moving. 3-2 and 2 out. Gibson will be moving off of second. Trammell at first. There's Kirk. Thigpen with a 3-2 pitch, ready now to Lemon. Fly ball, right field. Hustling over and to make the catch and put it away very effectively. is Baines in right field. But the Tigers are up for 4 runs on 3 hits. No errors. There were 2 left on. The White Sox now down by 3. Well, Frank Tanana would like to close it out right here. 4-1 as we go now to the top of the 9th inning. By the way, I guess some congratulations are in order for a guy that was not a bad pitcher himself, Don Drysdale.
Inducted last year to the Hall of Fame. He and his wife, Ann, had a young son, I think, on his 51st birthday.
He's not that old, is he?
No, he doesn't look it. Man I've worked with many years. Went into the Hall of Fame last year. I guess also our congratulations to Ray Dandridge and Billy Williams and Catfish Hunter.
And Jack Buck.
Yes. Man of your ilk.
Yes,
and
sir. And a very good friend. Very good friend. And a real pro. Well, some catching up to do now for the White Sox. Baines will lead off. Calderon, and that's a comebacker to Tanana. And the veteran's going to underhand it to Evans. Going to be sure on that one. What a performance by Tanana. This would be the 3rd time this year he's beaten the White Sox. He started out the year 2-0, picking up both his wins against the Pale Hose.
Well, 9 wins, and this would be also be, it won't be a shutout, but he already has 2 shutouts. So, as we said, he's been pitching very well. 1 bad outing last time got him out of the league ERA leaders.
Calderon looks at a pitch missing. He has 1 base hit. That coming back in the 2nd inning. Willie Hernandez, one of 2 guys throwing in the Tiger bullpen as Calderon fouls that one to the right.
Well, let me give you a stat. Last year in 1986, when a team scored 3 or more runs, they won 83% of their games. And I'm talking about throughout the major leagues. Tonight, a 3-run inning in the 8th inning did it for the Tigers.
Calderon times that one beautifully and pumps it to center field for a base hit. Boy, he waited on that one, didn't he? Timed it very well. As I said
earlier, that's what he does so well. I mean, and what they've been able to do is he waits. He can hit home runs to right field as well as left, so you have a tendency to wait a little bit longer because you don't have to worry about hitting that fly ball and have it be caught. Sometimes that ball will carry out. And going back to the other statement, when you score 3 or more runs in an inning, 83 of the time percent of the time you win. So
Hairston now up. He doubled back in the 7th. Head first slide into 2nd. The other guy is Mike Henneman, the right-hander, who's 8-0 this year. What a surprise he has been. Former Oklahoma State standout. He, along with Willie Hernandez, warming up should Tanana need some relief. 1 on and 1 out, and Hairston looks at a pitch missing for ball 1. They will not hold Calderon on at first, as the White Sox need some more base runners, trailing 4-1, top of the 9th.
Hairston most likely will take a pitch.
And he did just that, and it's 1-1.
Double the last time on a high fastball. So what he'd like to do is get a ball up in the strike zone. Tanana can end the game with a good pitch. Ball down the strike zone.
He'd like to get on, and they get the tying run at the plate. And this one's going to miss, and it's 2-1. And so Sparky Anderson didn't have this one put away yet.
Now, Sparky's been around. The man that's won 600 games with 2 teams, 12th winning manager of all time.
2-1 pitch. Grounded foul, third base side. And the count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, this game was in favor of the White Sox. They were leading 1-0. A solo home run by Donnie Hill back in the 4th. Then Noakes tied it up with a home run in the 7th. Then the Tigers erupted in the bottom of the 8th. 3 runs on 4 hits. And we're now at the top of the 9th. 1 down and a runner on first. Grounded to 3rd. Brookins goes to 2nd. They get the force error. There'll be no chance to double him up at first base. This telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. And so Tanana now is 1 out away from picking up the victory.
We talked about Carlton Fix. This is a situation where it doesn't matter how many home runs. As you said, 3rd behind Bench and Yogi Berra. This is where he'll bunt. Tom Brookins at 3rd base, playing behind the bag. Fisk looks down there, and Brookins moving back, now moving in. This is the type of guy knowing that he is needs to get on to put the tying run at the plate. Good situation to drop one down.
Didn't look like he's going to there, though, did he? Inside pitch, but let's see what he does this time. 1-0 now on Fisk. Down at first on the fielder's choice is Hairston. 2 down, Tanana. 1 out away from registering a victory. See, Fisk has not hit Tanana well. This ball hit left field, catchable. Drifting over the center fielder, Lemon. He puts it away. And Frank Tanana and the Tigers have won it 4-1. They came in here trailing the Yankees by a game. The Yankees idle playing in the Hall of Fame game. Toronto was winning their game, and so they will remain ahead of the Blue Jays regardless of what happens in that game tonight. We'll be back with more here from Tiger Stadium. 34-year-old left-hander Frank Tanana, a strong pitching performance, allowing 7 hits, the 1 run, a home run by Donnie Hill. Frank Tanana picks up his 10th win of the year. He's 10-7 as he goes the distance. Struck out 9, walked 2, allowed 7 hits. The big blow, the home run by Donnie Hill. That, by the way, matches his record of 1985, his first year with the Tigers when he was 10-7. Scott Nielsen pitched a strong game, but he ran into real difficulty in the 8th inning. He went 7 innings, giving up 4 runs, 9 hits. He struck out 3. Thigpen coming in and then retiring the side in order after that particular point. Noakes with his 22nd home run, Hill with his 4th, and Jim Palmer and I will be back with more in just a moment. The Tigers 4-1 over the Chicago White Sox. Frank Tanana going the distance, winning his 10th game of the year, and as you've said all night long, he's changed his style, but it's still a very effective style.
Well, really not the style. I mean, the end result is the same. This is Frank Tanana that I knew back in 1975. Doesn't throw as hard, but hit the corners, change speeds, 9 strikeouts. I mean, phenomenal performance.
Very strong performance, and getting this very important series underway and on a successful note before this 4-game series of the Yankees.
Well, what he did was what all good pitchers want to do. You want to keep your ball club in the game. One, maybe you'd call it a glaring mistake, a ball up to Donnie Hill for the home run. He kept them in. They're leading the league in home runs and runs scored. And they had that 3-run inning, in the 8th inning and won 4-1.
Now, he may, pitch till he's 44 like Tommy John?
Well, I said, and I think Frank is listening, I said the 2 differences is that number 1, he doesn't cheat, and number 2, he doesn't throw a sinker. What do you think about that, Frank?
Well, I'll tell you, if the good Lord just keeps me healthy and keeps me in the game, then we'll just keep playing.
Let me ask you one question. We talked a lot about Matt Noakes. We know about his offensive abilities, the home run in the left field, a couple of hits. They said he doesn't throw that well. He didn't have to do that tonight, but it looked like he called a great game. You hit his glove all night. Well, what is your assessment as far as his defensive abilities?
Well, I'll tell you, Jim, Matt has just been outstanding right from the start. In spring training, they were really leery about putting him back there. We're going to break him in slow. But, right from the start, he's just done a great job. He's improved 1,000%. He just gets better every day. And he's got a big glove that's easy to hit.
Let me ask you a question. You were with the Tigers last year. They had the best second-half record in the American League. Your assessment of how well you're playing now and what your chances are of winning?
Well, Jim, I'll tell you, there's nobody playing better. We're doing all the things that are necessary to win, winning the tight ones, and winning the come-from-behinds. We're healthy. The guys are just picking each other up. It's a full-team effort. And I like our chances a lot, believe me. If we can stay healthy and, just keep going after. This club goes night after night, regardless of the score, our standings, and they're just a great character on this club and a super bunch of guys.
Frank, there were a lot of people that thought maybe you guys were out of it. You were, 11.5 out by May 5th, but the guy by the name of George Lee Anderson didn't agree with that. He kept saying you're going to be heard from, and that's starting to happen.
Well, I'll tell you, he, everybody jumped off the ship. Of course, there weren't many to start with, but when we started off so slow, Sparky really boosted us. I'll tell you, he's really some kind of manager. He wanted to say those things just to, take the pressure off the guys, keep us loose. They ridiculed him, but I'll tell you what, he's about as dumb as a fox.
One other thing about a guy that you acquired about a month ago, went 3 for 3 tonight, Bill Madlock. four-time batting championship, most valuable player. What does he mean to this ball club?
Well, I tell you, he just fits right in, Jim, with his experience, with his winning attitude, his ways in the locker room. When he comes out and steps between the lines, he knows exactly what's needed. You know, he's bunted, he's hit the home run, and he's provided some tremendous leadership in the clubhouse. So, you know, he's been a great addition to our club.
Frank, congratulations on a very well-pitched game tonight and to the Tigers.
Well, thank you very much, Gare.
Frank Tanana picking up the victory as they start this three-game series. He's now 10-7 with the seven-hitter. The only mistake he made was to Donnie Hill. Jim, your thoughts now overall in this American League East?
Well, they're fooling me. Every time I thought Toronto was going to run away with it, and tonight you can see it was 8-7. They were, I guess, Boston had gone back on top. I think Detroit has a great chance of winning, but their biggest problem is that if Trammell or Whitaker or one of their key people get hurt, they don't have as much depth as the Yankees. And we did a Yankee game last week, and the one thing about the Yankees is they have about 30 guys that they're using on their major league roster between Columbus and New York. And the one thing worries me about the Yankees is Willie Randolph with the arthroscopic knee surgery. Toronto has a great ball club, but they don't have a lot of backup. So Detroit, as Frank said, is playing extremely well. You have a guy that's won 600 games, their manager, and he'll give a credit to the players. I mean, the reason that the Tigers are playing so well, they are doing everything right, defensively, offensively, and they have a good manager.
I think he'd be a great guy to play for. We went down into the clubhouse before the game. He talked about how positive everything has been, and he kept talking about our pitching. You know, he's really excited about how his pitching is coming around.
Well, they're in the middle of the pack, but as we said, home run leaders in the American League, also leading the league in runs scored, and I think they have surprised Sparky in that respect.
Well, Jim, I've enjoyed it as Detroit 4-1 over the Chicago White Sox. Tanana with the win. Scott Nielsen, the loser. Hill and Noakes hitting the home runs in this ball game. Coming up after your local news, ABC News Nightline. Tonight on Nightline, is the government doing enough to combat this killer? Should experimental drugs be available to people with AIDS? Later tonight, following Nightline, ABC Sports presents Monday Sports Night with host Al Troutwig. The selection of the 1988 Olympic hockey team. A special look at the Special Olympics. Plus guests George Brett and Jackie Joyner-Kersee and more. It all begins following Nightline tonight on ABC Sports. Tonight's game was produced by Peter Lasser. Directed by Ned Simon. Technical Director Rich Gelber. Associate Director Earl Woody Fryman. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.